people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Colleague. Jay, please stop. Jones. LOL, okay. I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. Colleague. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Jones. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy.
All right, guys, we are looking at the Jay Jones texting scandal, who wrote basically that a Republican colleague about bullets intended for then House Speaker Todd Gilbert.
Jay Jones has apologized and says he takes full responsibility for those messages. Ms. Spamberger, you have called the comments disgusting and said you condemn violence. The question for you tonight is, were you aware of these messages before they were released publicly? And will you continue to endorse Jay Jones as the next Attorney General of Virginia? You have 60 seconds.
The comments that Jay Jones made are absolutely abhorrent. I denounced them when I learned of them, and I will denounce them every opportunity I get. As a mother, as a public servant, as a candidate for governor, I denounce them. And it is important that candidates always denounce violence on no matter which side of the aisle. Violence, violent rhetoric, we should always be focused and forceful in our denouncement of it.
Are you going to tell him
and
to get
importantly,
please
my opponent, unfortunately, only denounces violence when her side is the target. I hope
like that,
into
Abigail.
the future, she will endeavor to denounce violent rhetoric and violence no matter who the victim. And tonight, Lieutenant Governor Earl Sears, I will say, you routinely referred to me as your enemy.
Sears, just please give her a chance to
You routinely
respond.
refer to me as your enemy. I'm not your enemy. You are not my enemy. We are political opponents, and tonight voters are here to listen to the policy differences that we have. So as we move forward, we must continue to set a good example for all of our children.
Thank you, Ms. Spamberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? And were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
In fact, it appears that it was those who released the text messages and held them for years. So the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages for many years.
What did you do about it?
I learned of these text messages the day that they came out, and I denounced them as soon as I learned of them.
She denounces murder.
And importantly, at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them.
You're running to be
presumably for
Ms. Earl
political
Sayers,
reasons. But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information.
Ms. Spamberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones? 15 seconds, yes or no?
We are all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about her lieutenant governor nominee.
Ms. Earl Sayers,
and it's up to every person to make their own decision. I am running my race to serve Virginia, and that is what I intend to do.
Thank you, Ms. Spamberger. We just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay Jones as Attorney General.
I'm saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual decision. I am running for governor. I am accountable for the words that I say, for the acts that I take, for the policies that I have put out.
Thank you.
I am responsible for the policies I put out and the work I will endeavor to do tirelessly for the people of Virginia.
Thank you, Ms. Spamberger.
As Attorney General hopeful, Jay Jones has basically sent out violent text messages regarding his political opponents. The Democrat Attorney General hopeful, Jay Jones, basically has said what you heard earlier in the video. Now, these texts have come to light recently, and it is absolutely crazy that someone that is running for governor, like the last lady you guys saw, it's crazy that the upcoming governor there in Virginia will still endorse Jay Jones. after this crazy stuff. But you know what? That's what Democrats on the progressive side really do. They like to call people Nazis. They like to call people Hitler. They like to call people fascists that don't agree with their Looney Tunes policy. Yeah, guys. So this whole entire situation is pretty rowdy. And the idea that he is sending these text messages, and this is supposed to be an upcoming elected official, is really scary to think about. But, you know, politics is a dirty game, but it's even worse when you have people like Jay Jones in it. And the idea that people are still going to vote for this guy really blows my mind. You know, it really speaks to how divided our country actually is if you can't see something as abhorrent as saying or wishing death upon little kids and calling them fascists. That's absolutely insanity. It blows my mind. Let's get this next video.
Don't accept his apology. I don't accept his apology because he had a chance then to apologize. Jay Jones is sorry only after it made the news. Jay Jones regrets it only after it has endangered his campaign. Jay Jones said he would take it back only because that's what he needs to do to try to stay on this ticket.
Yesterday, Jones sent out an apology letter saying, part, quote, I take full responsibility for my actions, and I want to issue my deepest apology to Speaker Gilbert and his family. Reading back those words made me sick to my stomach. I am embarrassed, ashamed, and sorry.
Yeah, guys, you know, I don't believe him for 1 second that he's actually sorry about this. I think he's sorry he got caught. You guys let me know in the comments what you actually think about this actual story. To me, it's pretty crazy that you can be running for something as prestigious as Attorney General and you want to send things out of this nature. It really blows my mind. And it's very scary to think about having someone that has absolute no regard for human life like Jay Jones actually running for Attorney General. This is a very prestigious job, being the Virginia Attorney General and having someone running for governor there in Virginia, not distancing themselves from Jay Jones like we saw earlier is also very telling. You know, I always point out the idea of I try to be fair on this podcast as much as possible. And, you know, of course, we all have our biases and stuff, but the idea of you being able to sit there and say things about, you want to say something about an adult, that's fine, but don't bring kids into it. That would be my 2 cents on that. This entire story to me is kind of crazy. But hey, worse things have happened, man. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Let me know in the comments what you think. Take care.